Good morning to a gorgeous day 331. Sun is out beaming away as always, but it's cloudy today. Helps keep some of the heat off, which is absolutely beautiful. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Not that I've got any new subscribers. We're at 714 again today, which means we've had no one in 24 hours. So obviously I'm doing something wrong. Anyway, our average for the, as I said in the video, so our average has come down to the 80s now. So we were averaging 1995 over a 28-day period, but we're not averaging that now. So the content obviously is dropping off, or the algorithms at Google are going a bit weird. Either way, help me obviously with a few comments and a few likes and whatever else. And again, if there's anything in particular you want to see, let me know. New subscribers, obviously this is about us building a home in Barbados. And just trying to share some of the challenges that we've had along the way in the hope that people can learn from it and not make the same mistakes. And at the same time, obviously, we can potentially get some advice and some cuts and bruises that you guys have had to us as well. So today, the tasks are today, sand down the garage ceiling, sand it down and start painting. So it's had sanding, it's had more filling. Hopefully today we can get a coat of paint on there. That's going to be one of the aims. Obviously the paint will then come down the walls once we're finished with the ceiling. But let's get the ceiling done first. We do need to get the masons to do, oh, they've done around here. So earlier on I wasn't too sure. So that's been done. So again, we're going to need to sand that down, make sure that's good, and get some paint on there. Probably need to get a little bit more on there. Yeah, that's sunk in. So to get a little bit more on there today. That is drawn in, and we can get some paint on that. We can get some paint on the one on the left hand side of the steps as well, so I'll talk to the painter about getting those done. The side of the building was obviously plastered yesterday, so let's have a look how that's drawn out. I'm not going to get any paint on that until it's literally dried right out, and then we'll give it a scrape back. Morning, Beckles.
Yeah, morning, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Some of the guys here getting ready. A few guys late today for some reason. Have a quick look around here. Okay, so again, that was a large amount. I would have got that blocked up and partially filled, let that draw, and then put more in. So now it's going to scrape over. But the wall itself is not too bad. The thickness down here wasn't at that thick, and the scratch coat was very close to it, so we had to physically try and scratch in with a very thin surface into that, because obviously we couldn't go too thick on here, so to blend that in was quite a difficult thing to do. So it looks like he's done a good job on that. There's some splash marks on here obviously which we'll need to scrape off before we paint, but all in all it looks okay. The edge at the top's not ideal. Let's have a look at that. What I don't want to do is obviously paint and have the markings like we got in the front of the building again, which is, we're definitely going to have it there, that's for sure. So we'll have to scrape all those in before we do it. And that's one of the challenges they have, trying to scratch in the side from the top. They really should be doing it from the front, but obviously the scaffolding only goes a certain height. So they tend to try and scratch in that very top end from the very top, which means they're leaning over trying to do it, which is never ideal. But anyway, a good amount of work done in one day. The doors are still a challenge inside, which we're gradually getting through. I do need to go and get some parts of that, and I do have a couple of other things I need to sort out, so I'm going to be off the island, I wish. I'm going to be off of the site, should I say, for a few hours. So what I'll do is I'll get the parts themselves and probably get into those this afternoon if I'm back in time. But anyway, we made some good progress on the doors. In fact, let me go up and physically show you so you can see what I mean. Second, let me spin you around. Okay, right, so the first thing we did was concentrate on the bedroom door over here. So again, we talked about doing a 1/4 inch packer. We talked about doing a 1/4 inch packer on here, or taking the frame out, but what we did is we loosened it off, and it landed up that this was actually too tight anyway. So we loosened it off and we packed it a little bit in and around where the screws are, and it landed up making the frame more plumb. And it also meant that the door shuts lovely. So no adjustments. And now that we've actually put the new hinges on, we're not getting any biting around here. So we've now got some decent hinges on. Obviously, like I said, I couldn't sort out a lot of the work that had already been done on here. So this had big hinges on it, but it didn't have these screws. So the hinges from Europe, the European ones that I've actually put on here, I've got these massive screws that have got the size 3 drill bits on the top, screw bits. So you get some real nice bite on there. So these are nice and tight now. So obviously they are neater. They're still not as, I've managed to get its claw back a little bit. Again, there's nothing I can do with stuff like this because it was already butchered. But I've managed to get the hinges in there a little bit better. As you can see with the lines where they were going to start doing it. But anyway, and again, these are all Bernarded as well. So we've tacked them on for now. This one's pretty much in place where it's going to need to be. So again, we need to get the painter now to wood fill all the way around here and start getting that done. But as you can see, we've got things a little bit neater now. Door handles on, and the door jambs aren't too bad as well now We've got them reasonably straight on there. So still work to be done on this door, but obviously where it's concerned at the moment, it's a lot tidier. We've managed to get all the crap and all the dirt off of it. Now we just need the architrave and the fill and sand, and that will be nearly finished. We've got a brand new door coming for in here, which will get fitted when it arrives, and hopefully it'll be exactly as it was when it first came. This door, yesterday we played around with this door. Again, same thing. I've got to get some big screws to go in here, so I've repositioned a couple of other screws, got this biting better. I fixed another screw into here which was missing, and I refixed some ones into here. This is an absolute mess, as you can see, but there's nothing I can do with that. Obviously that's going to have to be a straighten, get solid, and then fill and sand, and I hope you can't see it. The door jam's on, but as you can see, the door jam goes off on a tangent over here in order to cover the door. So the door again shuts nice, and the door jam is obviously where it needs to be now, but it's obviously leaning over, I assume because the top of the door is warped over. We've also got a bite right down here. So any suggestions on what we can do to try and get that unbiting, let me know. I'm all ears, but it's the same all the way up, look. So it has got a little, as soon as you open the handle, it does have a little bit of a spring, and also it does bite a little bit on the floor over here, which is a floor issue, not a door issue. As you can see, when the door is actually in shut position, there is plenty of space there, so I certainly don't want to trim you more off the door, and we're very, very tight at the top. But anyway, that's in and it's tidied up. Door jams on next, and fill and sand for that one. This one here, again, hinges are on. Again, there's nothing we could do about all the other doors had short hinges on, so we've managed to cut the new hinges in. Again, we've done a little bit of a better job on getting the hinges on than the other guy did. I've ballsed up a little bit there, unfortunately, but again, reasonably tidy. Again, the door itself, I think it's still got to be lined up properly, but so that one is, the door jam is a little bit, he's put the door jam on a little bit too tight. So I probably need to just get this one loosened off a little bit today. I don't really want to move anything else. So it slams and it shuts nice, but it's too tight. So we just need to bring that in a little bit more, I think. Again, it springs a little bit, so I'm assuming that something down here is biting somewhere. So, but again, the doors don't fall left and right now like they were doing, which is good. And then we started putting the handles and everything on this door, which has been done. Again, reasonably cut in. The drill bit was a little bit too big here, unfortunately, but nice and sleek. And again, we're putting the main bolts through the door as well. A lot of people don't put the bolts through the door. So you've got 2 screws, north and south, and you actually have a long screw that has a bolt on it that goes through east and west. That is to make sure the door doesn't break. But most people don't do that. So this one, as you can see, I haven't done the hinges yet, but when you leave it, it falls forward. So I need to work out what's going wrong with this door frame. I assume the door frame is slightly off somewhere, so adjust it so it doesn't do that. Change the hinges today, and once the hinges are done, then we can recut in this piece here. I'm no carpenter, that's for sure, but we've done a better job on rectifying the issues and getting the doors sorted than the individuals that supplied them. Now, obviously, when the 2 new doors turn up, we're gonna have brand new frames, brand new doors, and we won't be able to go through all this garbage. It takes us a lot of time to take apart, rebalance, re-screw. Bear in mind, there's already been holes made. So when we get 2 new frames and 2 new doors, hopefully they'll go in absolutely spot on. and there'll be no marks and cuts already in the door, which means our furniture that we cut in should be perfect. That's the aim. So anyway, our fingers crossed we'll get that out of the way. In the next couple of days, we'll get all the doors in, get them all balanced, and it's just a case of getting my painter out of the garage, inside, wood filler, sand down, oh God, more sanding, and painting. And then we can actually have some nice doors that look good and actually shut. That is the aim. So anyway, the doors have been the biggest problem, and at the same time today, when I go into Koymans to get the screws and that off of the doors, I'll also nip in and get the corner beads for the extractor, because we don't have any. So at the moment, it's been boarded, obviously, as you've seen. It's operational. I've used it a couple of times. It's good. I just need to obviously get the corner beads on there, get some compound on there, and then we can literally make it start making it look pretty rather than the mess it is at the moment. So I'll check in a bit later on. Before I go, obviously, you help me with a like and subscribe. And any comments would be greatly appreciated. I'll try and get back to every single one of you when I can. If I do forget one, please let me know. Anyway, I'll check in later on. Okay, just want to check in and show you one of the issues we're actually having with the windows. So we're now trying to open the openings and check the windows that have been delivered to see whether the openings are according to plan or whether they've got to be edited. And unfortunately, they've got to be edited. So I'll show you the mess we're creating. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of rubble on the floor. That's because in here we're having to come up by a reasonable amount to try and get the window in, because the windows have been delivered the wrong size. So obviously quite a bit of hacking to get that in, but they do land up fitting in on the little steps that we've made at the bottom. As you can see there, we're having to shave off a good 2 and a bit inches to get the window to sit in. It also means that from the front, we're losing quite a large chunk of the front frame. So, but it will go in, and obviously we'll have to centralise it. It's going to have to come over a bit more in here, so we can get it centred if we physically can. And we'll do the same with that one. Obviously this one was one we got missing, so that's got to be remade. We got a 4-foot one around the corner, which is fine, and we've just found out for some unknown reason our 3-foot hole we've made about 3 and a bit foot. I don't know why, but so we've now got to put that in. And over here we're actually changing in the openings here as well, so we're actually now calculating the actual openings for the main garage. So when it rains, it pours. But welcome to construction. Okay, so I've just returned. It is, what is the bloody time? 10 minutes past 2. The guys are working on the openings here, so I'm not too sure how they got on there. We've worked out that a lot of the openings, as I said earlier on, are very off. They're working on the 4-foot back window at the moment, as you can hear. Lots more chiseling going on. This one looks a lot better. A lot straighter, this one, so seeing the gap on the window all the way up is pretty much similar, thank God. And then Orin is working in the back with my little Hilti. Wish you were doing door frames now, don't you?
Yeah.
So Orin was helping me inside with the doors, putting through his paces. So I think he's actually being put through the paces by a Hilti at the moment. So this window here, it's actually straight. So now what we're going to have to do on this side here, we're going to have to board all the way down here, or plaster, one of the two. We're going to have to come in to make that look the same. So, well done, boys. Measuring gone, tips up. And that one, we're going to have to, we're going to have to rod that and redo that. Looks like they've already started on it by the looks of it. Okay, we have blocks going up. Blocks here, blocks there. So yeah, blocks obviously on this side, taking this in, and then we've got the front being done as well as we speak. So same one here, say 1.5 foot on here. So showing we're going to come into 16 foot. Would have been nice to keep 19, but I don't think that's going to be possible due to it turns into an industrial door over 4,800 millimeters or 16 feet, however you want to class it. So there's not a great deal we can do about that. So garage door has been ordered. It's going to be coming to us at some point in the next 10 to 14 days, and then obviously onto a boat and over to here. Hopefully this company can survive, not going to administration, and we might even get the product out of it. Sherman is around here putting a coat of paint on already. So I had a primer on there already, and he's getting a grey on there already. Look, he's not messing around. So he's getting the grey on there, so he's had the white on already. Although we missed this corner. It needs to be done though on the edges here, look. And he's getting grey on there, look, he's not messing around. Anyway, I'll give my neighbour something pleasantly more to look at. Bless him, he's been looking at a scratch-coated wall for the last 6 months, bless him. So hopefully that'll be a little bit more pleasant to look at. What else? Nothing really. Obviously, the main thing's been the entrances in there, the windows of the cottage, paint in the back. I'm going to go in and crack on with the actual doors now, try and get those 2 doors finished off so we can actually get handles on, latches on, and hopefully some operational doors. That'd be good. Tyson's around the front doing some gardening. Not too sure that's one of our priorities at the moment. But anyway, and we can also maybe look at starting to get this window in as well. So at the moment, obviously what the guys are doing is really getting the openings ready so the window fitting company can come out and put the window straight in. That's the aim. But worst case scenario, we can put them in ourselves. It's not difficult. Especially with these ones here, it is just literally silicone at the bottom. Make sure they're nice and plumb. Then obviously make sure they're actually plumb upwards and forwards and backwards. Fix the foam them in, let them go off overnight, come back the following day, trim anything back, and fix the screws into the actual beads themselves and fit glass. That's pretty much how simple it can be. However, much rather it be down to a window fitting company to do it. That way, if it doesn't open, they can come back out. That said, I have 2 windows that don't open, and I'm still waiting for John to come back and fix them. So he did say he was going to nip in today, but I've not seen him as yet. So anyway, I'll leave you as it is for now. Before I go, give me a like and a subscribe down there. Give me some comments, and we'll check in the next couple of hours. Thank you. Also thought I'd just quickly check you in and show you the soak away. Ooh. So at the moment we have, apparently this was soap water. So still need to obviously get that fixed in properly. So I'm not too sure that's not been done yet. It's a very straightforward fix. You've got to take that pipe down until the 45 works, and it's straight into here, done, and then backfill. Down here it's had the ply taken out. So we're now looking like this. Mind you, it still looks like there's wood in the bottom, need to get that up. So this is where we'll put our pump. Our pump will be in here, it'll be connected to that. And then we'll be able to pump straight out to the beach should there be any problems. But we need to get this dug out and supported underneath as well before we actually get anything else done. Not the prettiest looking thing in the world, but it is functional after all. So I'll probably get it plastered so it looks a little bit prettier, that's for sure. Can't have it looking like that. We need to get that wood out the bottom, get it all plastered up. And then the next stage is going to be getting the guys to get these rocks moved so we can start getting the berm over here. But that's going to be done when we get the bobcat in. I'll have a bobcat and still that. It's going to be a huge job. And we might have to get the excavator out anyway to move these, so it might be worth getting them to do at the same time. So obviously we've still got to get here sorted. So it's just a case of obviously getting this extended, connected, run into here, backfilled, and they still got to get that bloody pipe down as well. Keep saying about this pipe, the pipe itself, shouldn't be seeing any pipe. That needs to be lower. We need to dig that out, get that lower, get some sand underneath it, backfill that, and get that all the way around as well. So again, they've dug it out, and they need to get out deeper, it needs to go down further. And all this needs to be, so it's coming up in the corner here, it needs to be down in that corner, backfill it, and then we need to rake all through here as well, get this all sorted once and for all. We've also still got to put the overflow, if you want to call it an overflow, into here. Obviously this is the pool room, so obviously in here we actually have the pumps, etc. So if water gets in there, the water needs to get out, so we need to put a couple of breathing holes in here so the actual pump can breathe. Probably better to put it around here, maybe a couple on this wall here and one round here so the air can come in and come out the other side. And then we also need to put the overflow pipe out of here straight across into there as well, so that's got to be done. So still got a few tasks to speak to the guys up there. I mean, at the moment we've got a guy on the front gardening, surely this is more of a priority. So anyway, I'll have a chat so we can get those knocked off. Okay, it's 5:15, guys just finished up. Entrances potentially now at the right width. Haven't tested those, so back weren't the same. A little bit of scaffolding out on the garden. Some of the garden itself looking a lot better. Back of the buildings had a little bit of a coat where the scaffolding was, so whilst the scaffolding was there having the plastering done, they got the paint on, which I showed you just a minute ago. It's around the scaffold. It's just a light grey paint all the way over. As you can see, the scaffolding's in the middle. That will come down and be moved tomorrow, and we'll get the rest of the grey on there potentially tomorrow. Window openings have been worked on. And these have been put back on the outside, obviously, because they're currently being worked on rather than taking them back out again. I'm not too sure what they were done about it. I would have thought they would have fixed this one back in full time. Yeah, so that one's now been cut back. So the window can sit in here and be silicone, which is good. Nice solid base to sit on. And door frames. Working on the second to last door frame, so fingers crossed. Should get those finished tomorrow. I've only done a couple of hours today, so wasn't expected to do anything more. So anyway, we're pretty much done, so please like and subscribe to the channel. Anybody new, welcome. Hopefully we can give you some information that warrants you staying and wanting to dial in more. Again, only 714 subscribers. We've got another 300 to go. Come on, help me get this 300. Tell me what I should be doing different to try and get the other 300. If we get to 1,000, that's the little magic milestone. It'd be good to try and do that, certainly before we pack up and finish the build, that's for sure. Once the build is finished, by the way, I do intend on doing a couple of other videos, not about the build, how to raise finance, the suppliers on the island. When I'm not actually having to run around and get materials and being hands-on, I will do a few other videos to help you guys with the process, because finding tradespeople and building is one thing, but obviously where to buy products, how to negotiate discounts, who takes payment over the phone, stroke credit card, who do you have to go and see. Just trying to help you guys out with how it operates on the island, certainly how I've operated on the island, which apparently is very different. Most people go into the stores, pay cash and pick up product. I've not done that with anybody apart from Coinmans. But anyway, so I'll do some separate videos at the end of that, but initially obviously this is about the build, getting this finished. Ideally I want to try and get this done and dusted before 365. So we're 30 odd days away, so fingers crossed we can get everything achieved. It's looking like we're on target, but we've still got quite a bit to do in here, which obviously we've been neglected because the main house, etc., is the priority. Tomorrow's list, we're going to get the scaffolding out the back into the garage. Tomorrow is going to be sanding down the garage because that hasn't been touched today. Sanding down the roof, the ceiling, sorry. I think that's going to be a whole day task, so we'll be painting on Friday. But in an ideal world, what I'd like him to do is get finishing the paint over there, start finishing jobs, you know, rather than prime that, get a bit of paint on, move, get the scaffolding moved, get that finished first, then into sanding the garage. That means that job's finished. At the moment, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs open at the moment, aren't complete. And that drives me nuts because I'm a complete finisher. So we need to work on the windows tomorrow in here, get them sorted out. We need to get back of the actual cottage painted and finished. We need to get the scaffold into the garage and get sanding down the roof, ceiling, roof. And once the ceiling is done, then we can analyse painting the ceiling and then into the walls, which I think will be a Friday, Saturday job. Other than that, tomorrow for me is going to be, again, finishing the doors. And again, that creates another set of items that need to be filled and sanded. So at the moment, paint. That's going to be one of our main tasks. So yeah, so I'll check out for now. Help me, obviously, like and subscribe in the meantime. Give me any comments and any feedback you can if you physically can. And I'll certainly check in with you tomorrow when we hit another beautiful day in Barbados, trying to finish this bloody thing. So see you in the morning.